Hello, plant lovers. Welcome to Easy English Podcast, where we explore gardening vocabulary, plant care tips, and everything green, all while improving your English.
That's right. Whether you love growing flowers, herbs, or veggies, or you're simply curious about how to describe plants, this podcast is for you.
Before we dive into today's topic, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sarah, a total plant enthusiast. My home is packed with houseplants, from snake plants to monstera, and I'm always looking for new eco-friendly gardening techniques.
And I'm Alex. I love growing fruits and vegetables, experimenting with composting, and learning how gardening helps improve mental health. If there's soil involved, I'm in.
Okay, Alex, let's start with the big question. Why do you think learning gardening vocabulary is important?
Oh, for so many reasons. First, talking about plants helps us connect with nature, and learning the right words makes it easier to share knowledge about gardening.
Exactly. Whether you're asking for plant care tips, shopping for gardening tools, or describing your garden to a friend, using proper vocabulary makes conversations more engaging.
Plus, if you ever visit a botanical garden or take part in a gardening community, knowing plant terms makes interaction smoother.
That's why today's episode is packed with essential words, practical gardening advice, and fun conversations.
Here's what's on our gardening agenda today. First, we'll cover basic gardening vocabulary, types of plants, soil terms, gardening tools, and plant care techniques.
Then we'll share a beginner's guide to gardening, including easy steps to growing plants at home, even if you've never had a garden before.
We'll also explore how discussing gardening can help improve English fluency, with tips on conversation practice and reading plant guides.
And finally, we'll wrap things up with a fun gardening challenge. I'll describe a plant, and Alex has to guess which one it is.
Before we begin, here's a question for you, listeners. Do you have a garden? Or do you have a favorite houseplant? Tell us what you're growing.
Let us know in the comments or send us a message. We love hearing about different plants from around the world.
All right, grab a cup of tea, sit by your favorite plant, and let's get started.
All right, Alex, let's dig into gardening vocabulary. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced gardener, knowing the right words makes everything easier.
Absolutely. Learning these words helps when shopping for plants, discussing garden projects, or even reading guides on plant care.
Let's start with some basic plant types. First, we have flowering plants. These include roses, sunflowers, tulips, and daisies. They add color and beauty to any garden.
And then we have vegetable plants like tomatoes, carrots, and lettuce, perfect for home gardening and growing fresh food.
Right. Some people prefer houseplants like snake plants, pothos, or ferns. These are great for decorating indoor spaces.
Exactly. And don't forget about herbs, like basil, mint, and rosemary. They are great for cooking and easy to grow in small spaces.
Listeners, what's your favorite type of plant? Tell us.
Okay, Sarah, let's talk tools. What's one must-have tool for every gardener?
Oh, easy, a trowel. It's like a small handheld shovel that helps with digging and planting.
Great choice. Another essential tool is pruning shears. They help cut off dead branches or trim plants to keep them healthy.
Right. And for watering, every gardener needs a watering can or a hose to keep plants hydrated.
And let's not forget about garden gloves. They protect your hands while working with soil.
Listeners, what's the most useful gardening tool you own? Let us know.
All right, let's talk soil. A gardener's best friend. What's one important soil-related word?
I'd say compost. It's organic material that enriches soil, helping plants grow stronger.
Great choice. Compost is made from food scraps, leaves, and other biodegradable waste.
Another key word, mulch. This is a layer of material placed over soil to help retain moisture and prevent weeds.
Exactly. And when planting seeds, gardeners often use techniques like transplanting, moving a young plant from one location to another.
Listeners, do you use compost or mulch in your garden? Tell us. All right, Alex, let's imagine we have a listener who's excited to start gardening but has no idea where to begin. What's the first step?
Great question. First, you have to decide what kind of garden you want. Do you want to grow vegetables, flowers, herbs, or houseplants?
Exactly. If you love fresh food, planting vegetables like tomatoes, carrots, and lettuce is a great start. If you prefer something decorative, you might want to start with flowering plants like daisies, roses, or tulips.
And for those living in apartments or small spaces, starting with houseplants like succulents or ferns is a great option.
Listeners, here's your first gardening challenge. Think about what type of plants you want to grow and where.
Okay, let's talk soil. Soil is the foundation of a good garden, and choosing the right type can make a huge difference in how your plants grow.
Right. Some plants need rich, moist soil while others prefer dry, sandy soil. What's your favorite soil type to work with?
I love using compost-rich soil because it adds nutrients and helps plants grow stronger.
And for those growing plants indoors, using potting soil with proper drainage is really important.
Also, containers matter. If you're planting herbs, small pots are perfect. But for larger plants, using raised garden beds or deeper pots helps roots grow well.
Listeners, do you use containers for your plants? What's your setup like?
All right, now let's get into actual gardening techniques. What's the easiest way to plant something?
Step 1. Dig a small hole in the soil deep enough for the plant's roots. Step 2. Place the seed or young plant inside. Step 3. Cover it gently with soil and press lightly.
Perfect. And don't forget watering. Each plant has different needs, but generally, watering in the morning keeps them hydrated throughout the day.
Yes, but be careful, overwatering can cause root rot. Always check if the soil is dry before adding more water.
And let's not forget sunlight. Plants need different amounts of light, so make sure you're placing them where they get the right exposure.
Listeners, here's another challenge. What gardening technique do you use the most?
Sarah, what's the most common gardening mistake beginners make?
I'd say planting the wrong type of plant for their climate. Some plants need lots of sun, while others prefer shade. Knowing your local weather helps a lot.
Yes. Another mistake is not trimming dead leaves. Regular pruning helps plants stay healthy.
Oh, and pests. If you see holes in leaves, you might have insects or bugs damaging your plants.
Exactly. Using natural solutions like neem oil or planting basil near vegetables can help keep pests away.
Gardening isn't just about planting, it's about learning, experimenting, and growing alongside your plants.
Absolutely. So, listeners, if you're just starting your gardening journey, remember, start simple, be patient, and enjoy the process.
All right, next up, we'll talk about how gardening can help improve English fluency. Should we continue? Okay, Alex, here's a question. Did you ever think gardening could actually help people improve their English?
Honestly, yes. Gardening conversations involve so many different vocabulary words, plants, tools, techniques, even weather conditions.
Exactly. Whether you're describing your garden, reading plant care instructions, or even shopping for seeds, gardening helps build practical English skills.
Plus, nature has a way of inspiring people to talk, whether it's discussing plant colors, growth stages, or even pests. It's a great way to practice fluency.
One easy way to improve English is to describe your garden out loud. Instead of saying I have flowers, try something like, I have a beautiful garden with red roses, tall sunflowers, and leafy green basil.
Right. Adding details like color, height, and shape makes descriptions more natural.
Listeners, here's your challenge. Pick a plant near you and describe it in 3 sentences.
Another great way to improve English. Read gardening magazines or plant care guides.
Yes. Books about gardening introduce terms like fertilizer, watering schedule, propagation, and more.
And reading step-by-step plant care articles helps with comprehension and learning instructions.
Listeners, your challenge. Find one gardening article online, read it, and write down 5 new words.
One of the best ways to improve listening skills. Watch gardening shows on TV or YouTube.
Right. These videos help you hear natural conversations about plants, making it easier to pick up words in context.
And you'll hear practical tips like water deeply or trim dead leaves, phrases you can use in real-life conversations.
Listeners, if you've watched a gardening video recently, tell us what you learned. Want to improve speaking skills? Join a local gardening club or online plant community.
Yes. When you talk with other plant lovers, you naturally practice conversation, ask questions, and exchange knowledge.
And the best part? Everyone loves talking about plants, so you'll never run out of things to say.
Listeners, do you talk about gardening with friends? Let us know how it helps your English.
Gardening isn't just about plants. It's a fun way to learn and practice English every day.
Absolutely. So, listeners, if you love gardening, use it to improve your language skills naturally.
All right, next up, we've got a fun challenge. I'll describe a plant and Alex has to guess which one it is. All right, before we wrap things up, let's play a game. Guess the plant. I'll describe a plant, and Liam, you have to guess which one I'm talking about.
Sounds fun. Let's do it.
All right, first description. This plant is green, easy to care for, and thrives indoors. It has long pointed leaves that help purify the air. It doesn't need much water and is very popular in homes. What is it?
Sounds like a snake plant. It's one of the easiest houseplants to keep alive.
Correct. All right, next one. This plant grows tall and produces bright yellow flowers that always face the sun. It's often associated with happiness. What's the answer?
Oh, easy, sunflowers. They are beautiful and grow so tall.
Exactly. Okay, last one. This plant is used in cooking, has fragrant leaves, and grows well in small pots. You can use it in pasta dishes, soups, and even teas. What is it?
That must be basil. It's a great herb for cooking and smells amazing.
Nice work, Alex. Listeners, how many did you guess correctly? Tell us in the comments.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've explored gardening vocabulary, learned plant care tips, and even played a fun guessing game.
And hopefully you picked up some great English phrases along the way. Talking about plants is a fantastic way to improve vocabulary and fluency.
So, listeners, what's your favorite plant? How would you describe it?
Send us your answers. We'd love to hear about different plants in gardens.
And don't forget, if you enjoyed today's episode, hit subscribe and stay tuned for more gardening discussions.
All right, plant lovers, thanks for hanging out with us. Keep growing and learning.
See you next time.